Hey, this is Kelly Nielsen, the Grief Guru, and I want to talk to you today a little bit about grief. So what is grief? Grief is defined as our mental and physical response to major loss. And I think just about everybody on the planet right now is dealing with grief. Whether they recognize it or not, virtually everyone has experienced some form of loss over these past few months. Maybe they lost a job, maybe they actually lost loved ones to the coronavirus. Perhaps they just lost their freedom of going out and socializing with other folks. So everybody is experiencing grief in some form or another. So I want to give you a couple of tips on how to navigate grief or how to handle grief. The first is to just become aware that you're experiencing grief. And grief really happens in our life whenever we have a hope or expectation, a normal, and then a new normal comes in, or that expectation isn't met. And this gap here, that's grief. That's what we have to grapple with and learn to deal with. So there's a couple things that are instrumental in navigating through grief. The first is establishing structure. Grief and major loss can be really disorganizing to our neurological systems. It can create a state of chaos in our mental capacity and in our thinking day to day. So the more structure that we can put in our days, the more structure that we can implement in our thinking patterns, it's going to restore order in our minds. So even if people are working from home or they have their kids, implementing a daily structure, a set time to wake up, a set time to go to bed every night, that is going to work wonders for your mental and physical well-being and to maintain normalcy as it relates to your thinking. The second is, especially when you experience loss and catastrophic or magnificent loss like we've all experienced, is to recognize what you can control and what you can't control, and to not meditate too long on the things that you can't control. So a really simple exercise that people can implement is what we call the daily thought control exercise. So what you're going to do is take a piece of paper and draw a line down the middle of the paper. On the left-hand side of the paper, you're going to write down all the things that you can't control that are really difficult right now. So you can't control the fact that you can't be within 6 feet of people. You can't control that certain stores and restaurants aren't open. You maybe can't control that you're furloughed from work or you're working from home. Those are all the things that are out of your control. And I want you to sit and recognize them. It's important to acknowledge what's going on that's difficult, that you can't control. But then on the right-hand side of the paper, you're going to write all the things that you can control. It does wonderful things for your mind to see and recognize even the smallest of steps that you can take to build momentum and feel back in control of your environment and your circumstances. So you can control the food that you put into your mouth. You can control whether you exercise or not. You can control how you spend your time, what you watch on TV, the conversations you choose to have. Hopefully, the idea is that the list on the right-hand side should be significantly longer than the list on the left-hand side. And you commit to yourself after doing that exercise in the morning that you're going to only focus on the things on the right-hand side of the paper for the rest of the day. That is going to give you a tremendous sense of personal empowerment and feel more back in control of your life and your circumstances and everything that's going on. So those are 2 quick tips to help people deal with and recognize the grief that they might be walking through. I hope that they serve you well. For more information about this, you can find us at thegriefguru.com.